Hi everybody, it's Monday, April 1st. Welcome back to the garden. It's the first tour of 2019. Woohoo! Oh, I am so happy to be back. What a wonderful feeling. Look at my garden. The snow has melted. It's been gone for a while. Actually, March was pretty kind to us. Midway through, we had a little bit of a heat wave. It's been in the 40s and 50s for the last little while. So much so that I was able to come here and put up a little bit of the beginning of the picket fence, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Anyways, in 2018, I started doing pretty much a weekly garden tour, starting the very first week of April, and that's what I'd like to continue again. Except this year, I'm going to do a couple things differently. I think you'll have more regular videos throughout the week on single topics, but then you'll have this culmination video, what we're doing here, probably every Monday or so. We'll just say a good one once a week. And I'm going to break these particular videos down this year into 3 segments. The first segment is going to be an overview. So I'll probably stand in front of the camera like this and talk, and we'll do some panning shots, and you can see the garden, you know, as a whole. You can watch things grow up and be added from week to week. Then the second phase is going to be me talking about what I need to do in the garden this coming week, assuming that the video is going to get to you on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and most of the week is still ahead of me. And then the third video, or in the third part of this, I think is going to be highlights. So if I'm doing some weekly video or pictures throughout the week, I'll end the video with, you know, close-ups of what's been growing, either as pictures or videos with some voiceover on it. So with that in mind, let's get started. So here's your overview section. So I think I'm going to pan around as promised. It's the 1st of April. This is gardening zone 5A. Today's high temperature is only supposed to be about 45. Like I said, we've got some flurries on the way. And yeah, I don't expect a whole lot. Over here where the corn and stuff was last year, you can see we just have some of the trellising on the ground. But already at April 1st, this garden is off to such a better start than it was last year because I've got all the raised beds in already, and I've got all the mulch, and I just feel like I'm ready to go. So you can see the big highlight last week is over here. Last year, I swore in April I was going to do a picket fence. Later this month, I'm going to be getting some wood from the big box center, and we're going to start building some permanent fixtures in the garden. I'll turn you around so you can take a look. A faux fence will go from that fence to this corner and back, and it's going to be the same color purple as the garden gate. And this year I finally did. Last week I went to the store and I actually started doing it. So do you want to see it from the front? If I do say so myself, it's quite attractive. So we've got the garden gate, which has been here since 2017, and it's just sat lonely in purple, and now it has a friend. So obviously the garden is walled in already on 2 sides with my fence and my neighbor's fence, and this picket is just to sort of set it off. This year I'm really going to be focusing a lot on design, creative placemaking in my garden, adding that whimsy and just sense of wonder on top of, you know, how cool the vegetables look, and, you know, lots of great vertical gardening and all that jazz. So the pickets, I'll have a really nice full how-to video once this is all said and done, but these are just standard pine board, and I cut them to a length that I liked. It ended up being 2 feet 8 inches. I thought it looked really nice off the ground. I still have the rabbit fence that's buried underneath the ground underneath it, so that takes care of what the fence is really needed for, small varmints and things digging in. This is just aesthetic. I like the height. It works really nicely. It's anchored in both on the arbor, the fence, and then I've got green posts every 3 feet where the rabbit fence is, and I'm screwing the horizontal runners into that and the vertical posts then into the runners. From the back, so the front you can't see any screws. It really is very attractive. As the rest of the month of April goes by, I will get this section and the far end, and it'll finally be all done. And really, that's the biggest build that I need to do in the garden this year. So as noted, we're still expecting some snow and awfully cold weather, so I'm not planting any seeds yet because I don't have any sort of layers of cover yet in my garden. But there are still a couple things that I want to do. And this week, my main goals are you see I got some leaves here on top of the mulch. I'm not planting in that. I don't necessarily want these leaves to decompose because I've got, 4 to 9 inches of wood chips that I put down everywhere last year. And I don't want those to decompose so quickly, so I'm going to get rid of this readily biodegradable matter, as in the leaves. Just blow it off and probably put it on top of my raised beds because it can break down in the raised beds as much as it wants. So that's item number 1. And then some of my raspberries, like this one, this was a couple shoots that I got from Jim, Midwest Gardener. And these are just crazy. Like the canes on my normal raspberries are only, 3-4 feet tall. These ones are just, monstrous. Look at this. They're like a couple feet taller than me, and I'm 6'5", and they're sharp. It's the sharpest thing in my garden. It's like in my workshop, the most dangerous tool is the router because it spins quickly and it's super sharp. This is like the most dangerous thing in my garden because these thorns are ridiculous. And it seems like they're sticking out so far. You walk through and then you catch yourself and you snag it. So anyways, I'm going to trim those down because last year was the first year that they grew, and this year I don't know what to expect. Like, if I left them like this, would they be out to the camera in a couple months? I don't know. Anyways, I need to get rid of those, or not get rid of them, but trim. So leaves and trim are the 2 things that I want to do this week, and that is all. As regular viewers have come to expect, up here in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, Gardening Zone 5A, beginning of April, really nothing is popping out of the ground in my garden except for 2 things. The early harbinger of spring here is rhubarb. I've got 2 different varieties. I'll just kind of show you one here as I move some of the mulch around. I got all sorts of nubbins popping up. In a month, 5-6 weeks, I'll be harvesting that already in May. It's always the first thing. That rhubarb pie is just amazing. And then the second thing is flowers. So if we look over here in the corner, in the very little section where the raspberries are growing, I've got some shoots for tiger lilies. This part of the garden, when it was just a pile of junk, was overrun by tiger lilies, and it was the only nice looking part of this space. If you haven't, by the way, if you haven't seen my 6-year garden transformation video yet, I highly recommend it. You can see what this space used to look like, and it was quite astonishing. I suppose it also serves to mention I've got green shoots coming up from my Egyptian walking onions. If I had real onions, I'm sure it would be the same kind of thing. I'm happy that these are in their final resting place until I decide to move them again. Anyways, that's it. Because this is week 0, this is the point from which everything else stems. You'll be seeing a lot of me in the garden this year, and you'll be seeing a lot of my little baby daughter Charlotte, who right now is 7.5 months. It's pretty exciting. She's sleeping right now on the baby monitor, which is why it was a perfect time for me to come out here. It's great. She's sleeping for like an hour and a half at a time now, and she's sleeping through the night for the most part, or at least in like big stretches. Or she'll wake up for like 15 minutes, talk to herself, and then put herself back to sleep, which is such a nice change of pace. Anybody who's a parent or is a young parent, you know what it's like. So, yay, kids! Love it. It's going to be a really good year in the garden. I would like, and riddle me this, tell me what you think. I think I'd like to give the garden a name. Like the Midwest garden, but that's kind of bland, I was watching some other videos this winter. What's the one like? There's rooted and something garden, or the rustic garden, or the blah 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 garden. I think it would be fun to have a name for said garden, my whimsical spiel. So if you're new or you've been following for a long time and you enjoy my weekly tours, it gives you a little, happiness, please leave a suggestion for what you think I should name it in the comments below. I'm going to take suggestions probably for the first couple weeks in April, maybe for the entire month, and then I'm going to use the poll feature on YouTube, and we can vote on it, and whichever one gets the most votes, probably by Mother's Day in the middle of May, I think that's what I'm going to call the garden. I might even make a plaque for it too. So you better come up with some good ideas, please. Are you looking forward to seeing anything? Let me know. I think later this month I'm going to show off my seed packets. I've got a couple big orders from Stark Brothers Nursery that's coming. You know, things like asparagus. I've got a currant bush coming, blueberries. It's really very, very exciting. And of course, the rest of the picket is going to be built this month. And I think before I get going crazy on the raised beds, I also am going to do some permanent arches. Use the PVC from last year in a different way, but probably make some wooden arches that tie into the frameway. If you've watched some of my old stuff, that'll make sense. It's a nice arched walkway. Anyways, I'm rambling now, but that's what these garden tour videos are about. Week 0, all in the books. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Thanks. Bye.